Greetings and welcome to the 1-6 Scale Man. Probably presents, you know what it is, Fun Day Sunday here at the Collectors Lounge International. How you guys doing? It's going to be a good show, interesting show, things that we want to actually talk about. Today's show is going to be surrounded around the whole DC announcement from James Gunn, his whole DC slate, and also how it is kind of affecting the collecting community, not just in entertainment, but more so the collecting community. There's a lot of people that are really questioning whether or not they want to continue with DC, if they want to continue collecting DC figures, if they want to continue collecting DC pieces. There's a lot of people who are selling off their figures in protest. There's some people who are just selling off their figures because they're preparing now for what's to come with the slate in DC. They might be happy with it. They might be happy with what potentially we could get. So it's interesting, and there are people who are basically standing and erring on the side of Zack Snyder's universe, the Justice League universe. So I don't know. We have to see basically where that goes. But in any case, we're going to kind of talk about those things, and kind of brought in, my bro and one of my comic book talk with friend experts with us, so we can actually have a conversation about this today. Also, I got none other than the man is. I mean, the dude is like super clean always. I mean, and on top of that, he's showing us, yo, Brendan, Shane's coming in showing us out, bro. I'm the dude's coming in showing us out right now. I'm gonna bring him in, but look at this dude, bro. He got his muscles out, bro. He got his t-shirt on.
Guns
like,
out.
What's up, bro? Like,
it's all green screen. It's all green screen, man.
I'm just glad he's here because it was about to be Collectors Lounge National until he got here. So
sorry, guys. Sorry. I apologize. I saw Leia's message, and I knew I was running a bit late, and then
it's cool.
I saw the message, and I was like, I'm gonna get fired.
No, hell no, bro. Coming in, muscle. Look at this. But anyway, man, thank you for being here, bro. And it's going to be an interesting discussing today, God, because it was like. I got from a friend of mine. He sent me a message. He was like, "Yo, I'm getting rid of my Batman and Superman 2-pack, and majorly because it was a nightmare. Batman Superman 2-pack. He was getting rid of it. He wanted to sell it off. Actually, he was looking for a trade because he's trying to basically find. He wanted to get the Chrome Mando, so he's trying to basically get that figure. So that's completely understandable. But at the same time, like he did, voice his I want to say distaste what's currently happening within the DC universe right now with the new announcement from James Gunn. So he decided that he wanted to actually sell off his pieces, whatever. And I'm seeing, and it's not just with him, I mean, justifiably so. He has a reason because he's trying to get a trade for those pieces, something that really didn't interest him at the point. But then I'm also seeing that in the community there's a lot of people who are actively selling off their pieces because they just don't like the announcement that happened this week. And we're going to kind of talk about that in just a few moments. But before we do, I wanted, basically, first of all, how you guys doing, man? How y'all doing today?
Cold, man.
Yeah, it's freezing.
Colder than a witch's tit lately, man.
Yeah, it's freezing. Yeah, it's definitely freezing.
I'm going to use that as my own. That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
Yeah, it's definitely cold as shit outside, bro. Like, it was cold last night. Me and the missus, we went out to dinner, bro, and it's like we had to literally tuck and roll into the actual restaurant because it was that cold out. Like,
my wife and I were like, we're not leaving the house all weekend. Nope.
Yeah, bro, it was crazy. Like, it was really, really, really cold. But we weathered that storm. So anyway, bro, thank you for being here, man. Focus, what's going on with you today, bro?
What's going on? It's strange. Like, I woke up this morning. It was really cold a few weeks ago, and then I woke up this morning. It was mild yesterday. The car was frozen over today, but then like it just got nice and balmy, and it's nice and mild. I think it's only about 10 degrees. It's lovely. Like, it's an optimum temperature. Very lucky.
It was like 10 degrees here, but Fahrenheit.
Oh yeah.
Big that's different.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of. I think the weather's in that time where it's like one day it's going to be freezing, one day it's going to be warm before it gradually eventually warms up. But not much now. Just did legs today and cleaned detox. 2 things I find frustrating and hateful, but they're done. It's done. I moved a few things around, and then tomorrow there's a few things I need to dial in some poses on. That Mark 6 looks great next to the War Machine Mark 1, but I just don't think I'm doing it fully justice. They're kind of just standing there, so kind of want to dial something in. And this boy here, this cable, I like the pose, but I want to drop that shield. Something about
you
that
want to
shield.
drop it? You want to kind of change it?
Yeah, I went with the regular instead of the deluxe just to save a couple bucks because I was like, I'm never going to use that shield.
I was the same. I liked having the option. And I dialed it in. I was like, I like this pose, but it's not like a long-term pose. Like
you can light it and like take great photos or video of it and make it look really, really cool. But when just to the eye, when it's just standing in your detol for your module case or whatever, it doesn't look as cool as you can make it in, when you're actually like shooting it. So it's like, if it could, then I would keep it. But I was early on in my collecting, I was like, oh, you got to get the deluxe. If there's a standard and deluxe, you always go with the deluxe. And then I started realizing, man, I have so many deluxes that I don't use the accessories that I paid the deluxe price for. And I stopped doing that because, everybody's like, oh, if you want to resell it, you're going to get more if it's the deluxe because that's what people want. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather focus on what I'm enjoying now.
The Bestman. Yeah.
I'm getting the regular on the Besman. It comes with a nicer base.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes there's a substantial price difference between like a regular and a deluxe, or that sometimes the deluxe you don't like the diorama base that it comes with, and they don't give you both the regular and the diorama. So if you want the regular to have an actual stand with it, you got to go with the regular edition. So
case in point, the integrated suit, even though that diorama base, I think that's awesome, but I'm going for the regular when the time comes. It's $140 difference. It's nothing to do with the base. The base looks awesome, but for what I have in mind, I've said it a million times before. I don't want to bore people, but I don't need the base for what I have in mind. But like $140, that is substantial. Although the base is amazing,
I got the deluxe for the battling version with that base, and I'll tell you that like the base on that, the paintwork is really soft. It's like like I'm not even going to use it, so I got it. But thinking it looks great in the photos, but in hand, I was like, you can make it look decent in photos, but in person, the paint is very soft. It's very
it is soft. You're right.
There's not a lot of detail there. It doesn't match the quality of the figure and other figures that I would put around it. So it's like I paid for it, and I mean, you live and learn. It looked great in the photos. I rolled the dice on it, but Hot Toys usually doesn't come in that lacking of texture and detail on stuff, but the paintwork on that was like, it was something that I would expect more from like a third party that just kind of threw that in there rather than like an actual Hot Toys diorama.
Yeah, definitely, man. So anyway, Shane, thank you for being here, and thank you guys out there actually for coming through. As always, it's going to be a great show, great discussion, plain and simple. Speaking of before we kind of dip in, so told you I was bouncing around with the idea about the gantry in the Mark 6. And the thing is, normally I don't go with the gantry. I'll just go with the figure itself. It's not something that I'm like, I really, really need. But I was like, yo, that gantry looks really good. So I hit up, Ray, and I was like, Ray, are you going to actually get the gantry and, the Mark 6, whatever? He's like, yeah, I'm going to get it. I was like, okay. I was I'm thinking about getting it. I was like, the price difference, this, that, and the third. He's like, well, do you know how many points that you have? And I was like, well, no, I really, really don't. Because I didn't realize.
I like.
Wait, are you talking about Underground?
Yeah.
Wait, he does points?
Well, he does. So here's the thing.
Because I've been ordering from him for years and I've never used
no,
any type of points.
It's not points. What it is it's the amount of word of mouth. So when you what is it? What do they call it? I keep forgetting it. Like when you
like affiliate type thing. You mean like people that or that came from the channel and went and shopped with him
and shopped for him? Yeah.
So I thought you meant like a reward system. No. Damn, I should have it.
Every person that basically does that, I get like you get like a $10 credit like added to your and I didn't know that, and I wasn't really keeping track of it. I was just sending people over there, and I forgot that he was sending me emails to update. But I was like, what? He said, but do you know how many you have? He said, why don't you just use the points towards it. And I was like, well, I didn't really know how many I actually had to use because I don't keep track of it. Like, I mean, I don't. I just
How many
order
did
from
you?
you, bro.
You had a lot, didn't you,
bro?
People. Well, no, but two things that illustrates. One is you didn't even know that you were getting any type of points, and you were sending people, which is just a testament to the fact that you stand by him as a seller, that he's a good dude, he runs a good business, and you can get good prices and good service there. So that's a testament to, because you didn't even know that you could profit from it in any way. And second, that's awesome, because that means that people are going and spending money with Ray, who's a stand-up dude. And so that's good on both fronts. So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, and I didn't really notice it. And I was like, shit, if I'd have been thinking about this a long time ago, some of the stuff that I got already, I'd have been using it. But I was like, you know what?
Now
no,
you
I'm
can
stacking
get the gantry.
it. Yeah, I'm stacking it. So I was like, yeah, I said, just put that on my list because that gantry is beautiful, bro. I cannot stop looking at it. And I don't normally go for gantries, bro. I've
never gone for one. That's the first one that I'm going to do.
I went back and watched Iron Man 2 and Avengers just to get all those Mark 6 scenes in. And yeah, that's going to be a hard one to say no to.
Do you remember the first time you saw the Avengers movie and you saw him come down through that gantry? It's just such a cool scene. And that set the tone. I was like, oh, this movie's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
right there. I was just like, that was so
bro,
cool. So,
but it was like,
I have to have it.
I didn't realize, but see, for me, it was this. It's this fucking stupid, but it's the steps. I love the light up feature of those steps when he's walking down those steps. I'm like, yo, and just imagine, because I can already tell what people are gonna do. They are going to actually get themselves a suit up or a suited version of Tony Stark, and they're going to have him walking down the step with that gantry taken off. Like, I can already see it, like just like a transformation type of scene. So they're going to mod themselves a Tony Stark in the suit coming down those steps. It is brilliant, but it looks so good. I was like, yeah, I can't pass up on that, man. That looks incredible. Anyway, Ray, shout out to Ray Underground Toys. If you haven't already actually gone over there, make sure that if you need to buy some things, if you're looking for any future purchases, shout out to him, man, and just let him know that Leo sent you.
I just got an email from him this morning that my in-game Loki is coming in. So,
oh, for real?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
On February 13th, so just in like about a week.
Damn, I think I just got. Oh shit. I just got the same email.
There you go.
Fuck. But that means because I got the Chrome Mando from him too. Damn. Anyway, let me address the chat real quick. We go address it. We got Thule in the building. Thank you for being here, man. We got Peyton 23, the Guitos in the building, William Owens. We got Windman 42, channel member Windman 42. Thank you for being here. Some guy. Who else we got? 4K Media guys in the building. Damon Zapp is here with us as well. Shiny. He said, I almost missed the entire Enablers Lounge. Let me see what else we got, man. We got William Owens. We got OG. What's up, bro? And this is who I was talking about. He said, Leo, I don't hate DC. I love it. I was upset what they did. And that's what I'm saying, what they did with Cavill and Ben. I can't support C in my collection. I love them both. I will still be getting the Batman, and I will see what James Gunn does. So yeah, I understand that. You know what I mean? And you have your reasoning, but I also know you wanted to get that Mando too. So again, that's going to be out there. But thank you for coming through, bro. As always, we got Dan Carbonite in the building. Thank you for being here. We got let me see, Articulated Photography is here. Sean Breeze Collectibles is in the building. He'll be on the Say What episode this Wednesday. Thank you for being here, bro. Let me see here. Peyton, we got AJ Agrusa's in the building. Larry Walker is here with us. Primetime Reviews. We got Blackbird Tech in the building. Shogun of Naperville. Thank you for being here, bro. As always, I love that name.
Lale, somebody asked, how do they use you as a referral? Is there like a where did you hear about us section or something where they like enter you in? Like how does he know?
Well, what you do basically is when you go over to Ray, if you email him or if you actually message him and let him know you're interested, if you're interested in the piece, you just let him know. Yeah.
But there's no way like if they don't email him, if they just buy something on the website, there's no way to enter that in.
I don't know. I'm not really sure because I know that you can do referrals on there as well. Like you can actually say who refers you. I think.
Okay,
I
so
think
just
there's a
look
link.
for something like that when you're checking out.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I literally I never buy anything directly on his website. I just email him and say, "Hey Ray, can you just add this to my
Mm-hmm.
list
Mm-hmm.
of pre-orders?" And he just emails me back. He's like, "Yeah, you got it."
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. Plain and
It's as
simple.
simple as that.
And that's how it works. It's as simple as that. We got articulated photography in the building. New channel member. Thank you for coming through, bro. I do appreciate that. Who else we got? Machiavelli the Don is here with us. We have Squad Leader here with us. Blackbird Tech is in here as well. OG Mando, my bro, is always here. Alvin J. Who else we got? Thalia Meyer. We got Slugging16. Empire Strikes Again is with us today. Let's see who is Tyria is here. Who else do we got? And 12-inch Moose Dream is in the building. Thank you for being here.
There's a story behind that name. There's a story, and someday I want to hear it.
Definitely.
Or I might not actually, but
and we got Are You Joshing Me in the building. Thank you for being here. I remember I tried to pronounce that name for the first time. I fucked it up. I was like, "Will Josh me?" But I had to kind of really.
Have you never heard that like phrase before? Like joshing somebody? Like
no, I heard it, but I was just trying to read that. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy trying to get
reading
through
is
it.
fundamental.
Definitely. But anyway, we got Nefty 007 is in here as well. S Beam is with us. Brandon Saleh. We got Pop Culture Living Room is in the building. Thank you for being here, bro. And Skillmonger is coming through as well. Thank you very, very much for that. But anyway, so let's just jump in, man. Like again, I'm gonna pull this up real quick because I know this is
Wow.
Oops. God damn.
Oh wow.
Making it rain.
Oh wow, hold up. We got Rockamon Chris with a $99 and $100 super chat. Thank you for that. Very much for that. Wow. He said cultural representation. I hope you understand how important it is having you in the community. Your influence and opinions are much appreciated. Without you, I don't think we'd ever hear someone talking about wanting Last Dragon figures. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for that, bro.
I agree with everything you just said except the Last Dragon part, because I actually mentioned that I wanted the Last Dragon figures way before, and Lael actually jumped on my train and was like, "Yeah, you're right. That would be great." Bruce Leroy showing up. So don't. Yeah.
Anyway,
that's
thank
right.
you for the super chat, bro. We definitely appreciate
That's
that.
With
Bro.
light up LEDs as well.
That was awesome.
Like the dude's just sitting at home watching a stream and is like, "I'm gonna give Lael $100."
Right. I appreciate
cool.
that so much, bro. Definitely from the bottom of my heart, man. And also you being here. People like you being in this community, man, means so much. And to know that you do support the channel, that says a lot. So definitely I appreciate
active,
that.
keep,
very active in the community, man. So I definitely love that. Thank you for coming through. So we're gonna actually talk about this really quick because again, it's something that we've James Gunn last week made his announcement. So he made his announcement, and I know that for a lot of people, it came with like a bit of controversy because again, in the very beginning, what was said was David Zaslav himself was that the focus was going to be on the Trinity, or that he wanted the focus to be on the Trinity, which was Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Okay. After that, we got the film Shazam, Black Adam. So we got Black Adam. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was pushing this narrative and also hinting that he was going to have Henry Cavill in the film, which we did see. Spoiler alert for everybody who didn't see it. If you haven't seen it already, I'm sorry. The news is already out there. But he basically, spoke about the simple fact that, number one, going forward, we got like the information that Henry Cavill was going to be a part of the DC universe again as Superman. And this is what we were going to actually see. Now, this is what we believed. Only for that eventually not to be debunked because it was true at that time. But once enter in James Gunn and Safran and their plan, discussions basically happened, and now we no longer actually have Henry Cavill in the DCU. Now, it's mixed because a lot of people were saying that, okay, he wasn't fired. It was just a simple fact that that direction that James Gunn was going called for a much younger version of Superman, and it didn't really call for Henry Cavill. Now, you're saying he wasn't fired, right? So is he just let go or laid off? What's
well, no, because he never had a contract. Like he
Hmm.
didn't have a contract with
Mhm.
Warner Brothers. So if you're
Okay.
going to be fired, that means you actually have to have a contract, be employed by them. They were just like, so yeah, we want to we want to make more Superman, we want to make more DC stuff with you. Cool, that's awesome. Yeah, let's talk about that soon. And
Mhm.
then they brought in Safran and Gunn, and they have their vision for what they want to do. And Gunn even said he didn't necessarily say it was about age. He said there's a Superman story that we want to tell, and that Superman isn't that Clark Kent is what he said actually isn't Henry Cavill. That's it. It's but they didn't fire him. It wasn't like he had a contract and then they reneged or that they shit canned him. He never actually was employed by them at that time. So
Mm.
I know it sucks. Like I agree that like the way it went down sucks. Even James Gunn came out and said that like the old regime at Warner Brothers like dicked Henry Cavill around. Like those were his exact words. He's like he got dicked around by a lot of people, including Warner Brothers. But I know.
Okay, so here's my thing, and I'm gonna kind of keep it brief because, like I said, I get that. Wholeheartedly, I know that he wants to go a totally different direction. He wants a much younger version. Again, if you have a 10-year plan, then you want to see that 10-year plan through. So, of course, it does cause for some changes. It does cause for things to kind of, a mix up in a sense to kind of make sure that, you are steering the ship in the right direction. There's things behind the scenes. There's costs that go into it. There's whether or not the film was successful. The amount of money that a film basically makes, which again, like I said, for a studio, it's putting up the big bucks and putting this stuff out there. They want to regain some of the money that they put out. They want to actually kind of recoup. And we know that certain films weren't as successful. As much as people love the Justice League, the Zack Snyder's Justice League, it didn't really make any money. You know what I mean? It didn't because again, this was put out on Disney Plus.
You would think it would have made $2 billion for all the noise there was about like release the Snyder Cut and stuff, but people didn't go to see it in the theaters.
And they didn't see it in the theaters. So this is basically where we're at right now. Again, the reboot. I get that. He wants to reboot. He wants to do something totally different. Okay. I get that. I get that whole portion of it. Fine. Do what you got to do what you need to do, and let it rock. My only problem, and here's what my problem basically lies with it, is that you're saying first there was, and now initially, mind you, in his defense, we didn't hear anything about a reboot. He didn't exactly come out until he made the announcement that there was going to be a reboot. So what he's saying now is that some things will change, some things will stay the same. And what they're basically saying is potentially we could actually see Ezra Miller's Barry Allen back in the DC universe. After he goes through this whole, we can eventually say this. Now, I was watching a couple shows this week, John Campea being one of them, and he believes that no, this is just them stalling. Once he's out, they're going to say no, that whatever. You can't say that because here's the thing, and I put this out there. If anybody knows about second chances, it's James Gunn. If anybody knows about what it means to get a second chance, it's James Gunn, especially everything he's been through with DC or with Marvel, put it that way. Going to DC and then being recalled back to Marvel to finish, which he's done. Nobody knows about that, about those type of situations in the industry, like he does. So of course he's looking at Ezra Miller's situation and saying, you know what, I can get that. I haven't been there where you've been. I haven't done some of the things that you've done. Mind you, well, I'll say they. I have to because I have to keep it correct and use the pronouns they. Ezra Miller, the things that they have done, and that you can't really walk back putting your hands on a woman. I'm sorry, you can't walk that back. You've done that. Cohort, you in a sense with this younger child and kind of like a brainwashed cult type of situation. I don't know the whole justice story of the situation. I don't know. It's out there. We don't know until we actually hear from him, publicist, or whoever else. I don't know. Whatever. Proof is out there. But the thing is, potentially we could see this person back in the DCU. We could see, and they're saying we could see Gal Gadot back. It's still an open door. But there's no Henry Cavill because of the direction that you're going. Now, to me, the announcement about the slate and everything, I go in and I have my own personal reasons that I go in with a bit of hesitation, but I'm still open to see what James Gunn does. I'm not saying that I'm super excited because I'm like, okay, but I'm not saying that I'm disappointed. I'm just in the middle. I just got to wait and see how it plays out because I have certain reservations about where he's going with the Superman legacy. I have my reservations about what he's going with Damon Wayne and Batman Bruce Wayne. I love the idea of a Supergirl. The Authority. This is a very obscure team that a lot of people have no idea what's going on, right? They have no idea of this team and where they sit. There was 2 iterations of this team. They have no idea where this team is going. At the same time, how do you make a team like that is so literally, I mean, there's a lot of shit that they do, and it really comes with controversy. That film will definitely have to be an R-rated film. It will have to be either a PG-13 or pushing. It has to be R-rated based on everything that they do. But you're trying to make a lighthearted Superman film, and both of these things exist in one universe. How you would do that, I don't know. You just have to wait and actually see it. I'm waiting to see. But
Marvel have the same problem.
Exactly.
Because how do you bring, like, the success of Deadpool, partly, not all, but partly was due to it being R-rated, and they could make the jokes designed for 16-year-old boys, and they could cut people up, and now they're going to merge them, and that's a hard one to navigate. How do they do it correctly with the multiverse, but satisfy the R-rated Deadpool fans, but yet put it into the MCU without driving away the family money?
Yeah, they do it in the comics every day.
Yeah,
they do it in the comics every day. It can be done. It's not. It's just that it hasn't been done really yet.
And that's basically my thing. Is I'm waiting. I'm really waiting to see how this plays out. But I definitely, in Daredevil, exactly. Thank you for that, Cornelius. Daredevil as well. How they're going to actually bring that in, but they're saying that that's going to be PG-13 or PG. It's not going to be R-rated. So again, that's going to be kind of tough to see it. But in DC's universe right now, it's going to be interesting to see how these things play out. Now, from a fan perspective, I'm looking at it from 2 totally different ways. One, in James Gunn's defense, it's good that he's giving us his interpretation because he has we have a 10-year plan and we can see where he's trying to go. But my thing is, again, what looks good on paper, it looks good on paper until we see it executed. You can put a team together. You can draft so many players from different, but if they don't play, if it's bullshit, then that's going to be exposed. So I just have to wait and see how that's going to happen. But in his defense, I do understand that the reboot is there. Not the reboot, but the retooling 2.0 of the DCU or whatever you want to call it. But I also understand the simple fact that, again, you make an announcement or you allow, and that's the thing is, under David Zaslav's finger, his thumb, he allowed Henry Cavill to make this announcement. That was allowed. I mean, I'm going on talk shows. You let this man make the announcement. You had to have known that the plan was going to change, but you let that happen, and now that's being walked back. So I can understand where fans, in a sense, would be upset. So it's a double-edged sword both ways. I understand the industry and how it works, but also understand the fan.
If I was Cavill, I never would have said anything like that publicly on a talk show or anything unless I had a contract signed. I wouldn't have. That's just me. Like I'm not blaming him for how things. I'm just saying if I was him, I would have been like, okay, you want me to make an announcement and like boost your numbers and get people out to see Black Adam when we have a contract, then let's
Yeah.
talk. But
So Damon Zapp, again, they're saying Margot Robbie has already signed 3 separate contracts. Hopefully that solidifies her for a while. Hopefully. So yes, she did. Now she did sign a contract. She signed a few contracts going forward. So we have to see how that plays out. But
I mean, they can also just pay those contracts out though if they decide not to use her. I'm sure there are clauses in there for like them to be able to cancel and pay a fee or something like that. So just because she has a contract signed doesn't mean that she won't get in. It won't be that she won't be in a movie or something. It just means that she'll get paid no matter what.
yeah. And here's the thing, and and Figurassic Park, I see your comment out there, and this brings up a very interesting point. Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, the Trinity. Under what we had under the old regime, there wasn't really fair treatment of those particular characters where we actually got a chance to see the potential of where it could go. Yeah, we had a successful Wonder Woman film. Second one was trash. We had a very controversial Man of Steel. It was good to me, but it wasn't good to a lot of people, and it didn't make the money that it should have made. That movie should have been a $1 billion film, in my opinion. That's $1 billion character. But it didn't. Now, a lot of things go with that. Over the years, we've seen different iterations. So we're seeing a brand new character that people aren't really used to, a brand new actor that people aren't really used to, and filling those shoes. But the thing is, in my opinion, and we're going to get to a lot of stuff for later, but in my opinion with this is that if you're focusing on bringing in like this monster universe, whatever, and also the Authority and bringing all these other characters. And I was on Robert Meyer Burnett's show last night. He made he made it interesting. He was like, "Yo, this is James Gunn just being James. This is what James Gunn is doing. He's being James Gunn, but being James Gunn sometimes it can backfire because it's like you're being James Gunn and you're bringing all this other obscurity in, but you're not focused on the simple fact that and he might. Here's the thing. I'm just my opinion, and I know that he has a plan, and eventually we'll see it. Okay, so yes, we'll have a Superman film. Yes, we'll basically have a Batman film. But then you're giving us Paradise Lost, and you're calling it, or they're saying it's somewhat like a Game of Thrones type of whatever, which I hate that label. I hate that. Let Game of Thrones be Game of Thrones. Paradise Lost can be his own thing, but you're giving us that, and I know there's a couple of ideas there, but I just don't know where, and that's where my hesitation is with that show. I don't know how you're focusing on that, but then not focusing in on Wonder Woman. I know you're going to bring that character in later, possibly. We'll see. But that, that's just my thing. That's where I'm sitting.
But you gotta remember a couple of things. One, what he announced was only the first part of the first chapter. This isn't like the first, like he didn't even announce the full first chapter of Gods and Monsters, their slate. He only announced part of it. And the Paradise Lost show, they say, takes place before Wonder Woman before Diana is born, before the Wonder Woman films. That leaves it open. I genuinely believe they have a plan for what they want to do with Wonder Woman that they don't want to tell us yet because it's got to unfold as according to the storytelling timeline that they're ready to, that they are mapping out, that they want to tell the story in. Now, we also don't know if Gal Gadot is going to be Wonder Woman moving forward or not. That's something that they're probably still in the throes of working out with her contractually, creatively figuring out what exactly is going to happen. So announcing a Wonder Woman movie, right? Even though it could very well be the next thing that we hear about at some point, announcing it before they've actually figured out, okay, we're doing this show. This show is going to lead into, be a prequel of sorts, lead into the story that we want to tell with the full-fledged Diana as Wonder Woman. We just don't know if it's going to be with Gal Gadot, if we can work out a contract with her, if she's going to be on board, depending on her commitments or schedule, what we want to do, or if we're going to need to cast somebody else in this role and continue it, because that also could, depending on her availability and her schedule, or them needing to cast somebody else, if that's the case, that impacts their timeline as far as when they're ready to move forward with that. So the show could be great. I mean, you got to remember, everybody loved, Breaking Bad, and then Better Call Saul, prequel series, right? The prequels can work. They can be really, really great if they are done right. So I think people got soured on it because there wasn't an actual, Wonder Woman show or movie announcement. It's a prequel too, and people are like, I don't want any of I just want a good story with Wonder Woman. It's like, if this enriches the story that they want to tell next with Wonder Woman, which we're not privy to yet, then I'm okay with it, because we can't get everything we want in that first phase. Right. And Wonder Woman, she might show up in the Superman or Batman movie, and that's how we first get her in this new rebooted, or reset DCU. And then they tell us, because she could play an integral role in one of those movies or something. We don't know, exactly. So it's like, I get why people are hesitant with certain parts of the announcements, but we also have to step back and recognize the fact that we know a very small fraction of what Warner Brothers is planning. So we can't get into this, because I didn't hear what I wanted, it's disappointing. We got to remember that we're not going to get to hear everything that we want right away, but it could still be coming.
And that's completely understandable. For me, I'm not going, because my hesitation has to do with the past handling of the DCU. So I can't go into it, regardless of who you put in there. I can't go into it just being all in. Yes, finally we're getting. No, I'm not. No.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
We just gotta wait and see.
I'm reserved.
Does anyone think?
Yeah, go ahead, Shane.
Like, okay, regardless of whether you're a big Cavill fan or Gal Gadot or Batfleck, like the DCU for the most part, it was a bit rushed and it was a bit of a mess. Does anyone think maybe that your man Zaslav and James Gunn, they come together and they're right, look, this is a bit of a mess. We need to fix this. We're going to give you a 10-year plan. Like, think about this. The MCU started in 2008, but realistically, they were probably shooting and planning this since 2006 on. Then it culminated 2019 for that endgame payoff. That's 11 to 13 years of hard work and planning. It didn't happen overnight. But the DCU was a bit like, oh, they're doing good, let's kind of do something similar, and it was a bit rushed and a bit messy. It had its good movies. Like I did like Man of Steel, for example. But like, do you not think maybe that, is there anyone out there who thinks, maybe this is really tinfoil hat, that perhaps they're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna put it out there that Cavill's gone, we're gonna put it out there that Gal Gadot's gone, we're gonna put it out there that we're wiping the slate clean, when once the ship is steadied and they've got a few new movies behind their belt and series, and it's like, this is going somewhere, that inevitably they're going to pull a No Way Home and bring them back? Is there anyone out there who thinks possibly that they've seen
I've been thinking something similar to what you're thinking.
Ghostbusters Afterlife, No Way Home, The Flash.
Yeah,
like
I don't think they're going to bring them back into the main continuity that they're building. I think they're building a main continuity to be what they're going to move forward with. I really, really think that there is a strong chance that we get a Kingdom Come movie at some point under the Elseworlds banner, which they have officially made a thing. And we get Affleck, Cavill, Gal Gadot. We get them in a Kingdom Come movie. They've set up it absolutely perfectly by saying, that they want. I mean, I can imagine Ben Affleck directing it too, right? But Kingdom Come is iconic. You want your characters to be a little older, be a little more seasoned. They said Elseworlds is a thing. We've got the Joker, we've got the Batman. They're going to be able to do more Elseworld stories, and bringing back those actors to do a Kingdom Come movie, I think would be absolute genius to me. I think that there's a very good chance that happens down the road at some point.
Because there is definitely a resurgence in the last, I'd say, 5 years of classic 80s characters been coming back. Like if you look at the likes, like the ones I just mentioned, the obviously you have No Way Home is probably the go-to. You have Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I think they did quite tasteful.
It was very good, yeah.
Karate Kid and Cobra Kai, which it has been an absolute hit. Like
Yep.
you have Top Gun Maverick. They didn't bring back, they couldn't bring back Goose, obviously, but they did enough of a job of giving a nod to the nostalgia factors, but they didn't dwell in the past too much, which I really like. But there is that kind of resurgence when it's handled well. You got the new crowd in, and it keeps the 80s kids happy, and like. I don't know. I don't know as much about the DC EU as the two of you do, or people in the chat. But are they setting us up for that inevitably, or do you think they're gone? They're like, what do you think, Lil? Do you think they're gone? They're gone?
It's hard to really with Cabell's situation. It's hard to really say. It's hard to really say because when I'm thinking about it, even if they said, "Hey, Henry, this is our plan. We may not have had use for you then, but we want to do this. Would you be willing to come back and do this?" If I was if I were him, and this is just basically speaking, I'd be like, you know what, fuck that. Nope, I'm out. Because of it's always we will or we won't. We will or we won't. You know what I mean? Even him loving the character as much as he does, he loves Superman. And I guess it just depends on the contract. If the money's right, if the time is right, if he doesn't have himself, because we got Warhammer, he's involved in that. So if he's not involved with all these other projects and he has the time to do it, then we'll basically see. He did say that the conversations that he had with James Gunn and Peter were pretty good. It's just that they didn't go in that direction. So again, I don't know, but if going down the line, if they would do something like that, like if they, give us, I don't know, it's interesting. It would be interesting to actually see if there's a plan to do it that way. But right now, it's just like with him, I don't know. Like that's the tough part with Henry Cavill. I don't know. Ben Affleck, totally different breed because like right now, he can be in the director's chair for this Batman film, and I think they will probably approach him about that. And if he's willing to do it,
they already have.
Yeah, pretty much.
They already have.
And with this Damon Wayne Batman film, I think he's gonna do it. We're gonna see it totally, and I think he's comfortable with being in the director's chair. He's had a discussion. We're gonna actually see that. With Jason Momoa, look, everybody is hype over him being Lobo. I think there's gonna be a continuation with Aquaman. Honestly,
I do too.
I really believe there's going to be a continuation with Aquaman. I don't think that we're going to get this character Lobo that people think we're going to get. And if we might get Lobo down the line. But right now he's excited about playing Aquaman because I guess there's a future in that, and that's where he wants to be. So that's what I think. But
when you look
Gal Gadot, again, I love me some Gal Gadot
I think
as
she'll
Wonder
be back.
Woman, and I want her back. Ezra Miller is going to be the tough sell. That's going to be the tough sell because there's going to be a lot of pissed off people if you bring him back.
Look, I know that James Gunn is the king of second chances. He believes in them. And he should. James Gunn's misguided tweets a decade prior is a lot different than everything that Ezra Miller has gone through and done.
100%.
A massive
So
difference.
I don't think we can't equate those and be like, oh, he's going to give him a second chance because he got because also James Gunn was a contractor, an employee, at that getting he wasn't in the CEO chair. Now he's in the CEO chair and he's got to look at it from that perspective and from the business side. They said what was PC, what was the good PR approach right now, which is we support Ezra in the recovery and we'll go from there because they don't want to add any more by like, we're shit canning him, but go see this movie, right? They want to wait until this movie comes out, let it be successful, and then say we're moving on, and this movie resets, certain elements, and here you go. And it's, and he hasn't said reboot. He's saying reset. And when you think about it, though, a lot of times, and they do this in comics because DC, reboots or resets their main continuity every 4 to 5 years, right? But they still keep certain things. Some things, and if you look at Marvel, right? And if you look at the CW shows on the DC shows on the CW and stuff, sometimes a character from one universe to the next is like a complete doppelganger, looks exactly like them. Sometimes they look nothing like them. They're a totally different character. So you can have a reset of the DCU where some actors stick around and then others don't, because they're going to say this radically changes in this other universe, but then this is actually more closely. They've done that tons of times. I do think it's problematic in that it can be confusing to the general movie-going audience who isn't hip deep in comics. So that's a challenge. Whether or not they can pull it off, I don't know. But if you look at this slate that they've got here, this slate makes a lot more sense than I think people are giving credit for. For one, the top row, those are movies that are already in the can. They're got to put those out. But he even said Shazam, he said, has always been off in its own kind of corner of the DCU. So it's an easy transport to bring Shazam into the new continuity that they're building. Because they brought in a Superman cameo at the very end of the first one, but you never saw Cavill. It was just the emblem. It was just the chest. And people have really liked Zachary Levi in that role. Maybe you could even then, in a future Shazam movie, bring Black Adam in, bring The Rock in, who knows. But you can bring him in. Flash, we already know that's going to be kind of the reset point. Blue Beetle has never appeared in this initial DCEU, so it's an easy thing to just say, he's in the DCU. You don't have to retcon anything or reset anything there. Aquaman could be one of the things that stays the same. Maybe even they throw something in at the end of this Aquaman, because it comes out after the Flash, that kind of resets Aquaman a little bit. So you can still continue with him, but maybe some of his backstory has changed. Maybe Mira's dead. Maybe, any number of things that you can do. Creature Commandos, watch it or don't watch it. It's an 8-episode animated thing on HBO Max. There are plenty of people who love the DCEU, haven't watched the Harley Quinn show. That's just a fun kind of cool thing that I think actually will be pretty entertaining, but you don't have to pay any attention to it if you don't want to. Waller. All right. Everybody has loved Viola Davis as Amanda Waller in every appearance that she's made in the DCEU, and Peacemaker was a huge hit. So continuing Viola Davis and Amanda Waller's story, that's a no-brainer. That's a good. I would love a hot toy of her as Amanda Waller too. I would absolutely, right? A Batman movie, absolutely. We want a Batman movie. We want Batman hot toys. We'll see how they pull this story off. A lot of people are pissed about them skipping Dick Grayson and Tim Drake, Jason Todd, stuff like that. But think about with Batman, in order to get to Damian Wayne, and there's a rich story there with him and Talia and Ra's al Ghul, right? In order to get to that point, if we wanted to just do chronologically, it would take them 25, 30 years to get to him, because you'd have to give enough time for Dick Grayson to be Robin, then enough time for him to transition out and Jason Todd to be in there, enough time to tell his story, and then have Tim Drake, and then right?
And that's understandable.
You can't do that. So this way they can bring Damian Wayne in. They
cannot just gloss over Damian Wayne's story. It has to be because there's a
Damian Wayne.
I mean, Damian Wayne. They can't just gloss over that, because there's a lot that goes into that story.
Right. And so, but if they do that well, what that does is it allows them to get to Damian Wayne and tell his story, but it also allows them, either through flashbacks, other shows, other movies, to establish the Bat family. I mean, we have Nightwing now. We don't have to wait for Dick Grayson to be Robin for 5 movies or something and then become Nightwing. We could get a Nightwing in this first phase. And people have been screaming for a Nightwing movie at some point, right? And then Nightwing hot toys. I'd absolutely love it. We could have those characters as established, and then through flashbacks, through their own movies, through their own TV shows, we get that backstory filled in. But now we've got a fully fleshed out Bat family that we could have moving forward that we would never get to, never, if we went chronologically, because you just wouldn't have enough time and contracts and casting to be able to get to Damian Wayne. We would never see him. So this is the only way you can see Damian Wayne, and I'm okay with it. And I think that we're going to get Nightwing and maybe even Red Hood, and we're going to get that fleshed out. Superman is a no-brainer. Obviously, yes, Cavill, that controversy, but we want a Superman. We want Superman hot toys. Booster Gold could be exactly like Peacemaker, could be an R-rated, ridiculous, hilarious show on HBO Max. Lanterns, I mean, who's not excited about having Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart? I think the two best Lanterns. Like, thank God they didn't go with Guy Gardner. He's a fucking idiot.
I don't know about you guys, but I am psyched to see Ryan Reynolds play Green Lantern again.
I would love if they did a fucking cameo as like a post credits, just like whatever, if Ryan Reynolds is just an extra that just walks in the background of a scene, I'll fucking love it.
I'll think less of him if he doesn't do a cameo like that. This is the most Ryan Reynolds thing you'll expect.
I think he would be up for it. I wouldn't be surprised.
Just one of those extras who's like, winks at the camera.
We've wanted Green Lantern on live action on screen forever. Okay, so Supergirl, I think this particular story, and it's a really good way to separate and make it not just be she's Superman light, but to really give her own personality, her own story, show the difference there. Swamp Thing, everybody loved the show, even though they canceled it after one episode. Swamp Thing is an absolute great choice to do an R-rated horror movie on screen. And then The Authority, like people who are like, well, what's The Authority? Like, that's stupid. Like, nobody knows that. You motherfuckers didn't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy either. Like, you didn't, right? So let's give it. And the thing is, they could end up being
100%.
really good foils for Superman. They could really be impressive in this.
As soon as you said it, as soon as you were talking about like the Authority, it was like, I think Lael was saying nobody knows them and they do messed up stuff. I was
That's
like,
perfect.
Yeah, enter James Gunn. He's done it twice. He's taken these characters. I've said this before on other streams and stuff. Like describing. There's
less baggage because he can do so much.
One of the greatest documentaries I've ever watched was called The King of Kong. It was about these bunch of nerds. Yep. I know I can't call anyone a nerd. We're all nerds. Who were just sitting around trying to break the world record of Donkey Kong. It sounds terrible. It is awesome. But when someone described the Guardians of the Galaxy to me, well, there's this tree, there's this big muscly guy, there's a green girl, there's a human, and then there's a raccoon thing. I'd be like, that sounds awful. And James Gunn takes it, makes you care about them, and he's done it twice. He's done it with the Suicide Squad as well. So yeah, as soon as Ray always talk about the Authority, I know nothing about him. This is James Gunn's. This is his thing.
But see, this is what I'm saying, and that's fine because we know that James Gunn can do it. But the Guardians of the Galaxy are totally different from the Authority, bro. Because
you know what's not?
Wait a minute.
Boys.
Wait a minute. The Authority has a lot of, but the Boys is in a totally different universe. But the Authority basically has a lot of weight with that team. And when we talk about controversy, we're talking about killing with no remorse. We're talking about two characters who are in a relationship, same sex type of situation, which is, again, we know that that's to be expected and we welcome that because look, the world has changed. But I guarantee you there's going to be some butthurt individuals out there who are going to come crashing down.
I think it's part of an agenda rather than
call it an agenda and say that it's a woke situation. So the Authority is going to come in with a lot of controversy, a lot of weight with it. And the thing is, again, we're talking about Authority that they kill with no remorse for the better good if they basically think it's to keep the world safe. We're talking about Superman, who doesn't really fall in that same line. So you're talking about going from a PG rated film to an R rated and blending those characters in to see how it's going to work. Now, I'm not saying that James Gunn can't do it, but it's going to be interesting to see how he does it because we know he deals in the world of obscurity. We know
that's like the difference between the Punisher and Luke Cage in the Netflix universe. Not even Daredevil, but Luke Cage. Both of those worked. We were watching those, And you never saw Luke Cage. Luke Cage was in a lot of ways like Superman in that. He wasn't crossing that line. He'd beat people down, but he was not killing people. He was trying to protect a community. He was a positive character, right? And you have Frank Castle also in the Netflix Marvel universe, just blowing people away, right? You can do it, and you and I have been reading these for 40 years in the comics. They can have both of those tonalities. It's about how you connect them, and I absolutely think they can do it. Also, I don't think this Superman. I think people are looking at this, the logo too, and thinking, "Oh my God, this is going to be like the DC Super Pets movie." It's going to be a movie. I think it's like Christopher Reeve. Like he's going to be this positive. He's going to be this kind of a life affirming version of Superman, which is what he is. Doesn't mean it's going to be like slapstick. It doesn't mean it's going to be, goofy or like it's going to be like G-rated or something. It's still going to be what it needs to be for Superman. I think people are just kind of looking at the logo there and thinking about like when he, what he's saying about him being that kind of positive force in a world that thinks that positivity is outdated. But that's what Superman is. And he still exists within the Justice League and within the larger DCU when it comes to comics. And I absolutely think it can be done here. We just have to let them, do it. And the thing is, it was just the Snyderverse was just so tonal wise. It was just so dark and serious that people haven't really seen an interconnected universe with a Superman more akin to the comics that fits in that larger landscape yet, because it hasn't been done on the screen. That doesn't mean it can't be done. I mean, you look at Ant-Man, right, fitting into the MCU, and we've had some very serious. You go from something like the Winter Soldier or Civil War, and then you've got Ant-Man, just like goofy and heist type, and now Ant-Man is helping to introduce the biggest foil, the biggest villain for the MCU. Yeah. So it can be done. We just have to let it happen. But look at the collectibles we're going to get out of these. Like,
that's okay. So before you jump into that really quick, because that is the next topic right now that I kind of wanted to kind of jump into, because again, we all know about the Elseworld. We know about Joker. We know about Batman. We know about Teen Titans Go. We know basically the Elseworlds projects are out there, which I think a lot of people are interested in, because we still have the Batman, and they have already announced that there's going to be a Batman 2, and they have the projected date. So we already know that's going to happen. So they've already put that to rest. So again, we have that.
And the Penguin show coming up.
Exactly. Penguin show's basically dropping. So we have the Elseworld. We're going to see that. So again, we get that. Now, again, when we're talking about the slate, real quick before we jump into this next topic, what has my attention right now from that slate, of course, is Supergirl, Lantern, and Swamp Thing. That's what probably has the most attention
figure-wise, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because again, those stories can be told, and that Supergirl story is very interesting on how they're going to tell it, and I can't wait to see that. So yeah, the slate, it is what it is. I just have to wait and see how it's going to be. I'm going in with a bit of hesitation, not extremely happy, not upset. I'm just in the middle, just want to see execution. But with this basically being said, there's a lot of things that are going on right now. Like I mentioned at the top, a lot of people are in there. I've seen this and I'm like, wow, this is really happening. This is the thing. A lot of people are selling off their DC figures. Like they are really getting rid of their Justice League figures in protest because they are upset at the simple fact that we're not going to see the Justice League anymore, that version of the Justice League. We're not going to see at least some of those characters. And there's a lot of people that are upset. Now, when I talked at the top, I mentioned OG Mando. He's looking to trade because he's looking for a different piece, which is completely understandable. We talked about that, and he has some really good points. But I'm talking about a lot of other individuals who are literally selling off their stuff, saying, no, F that. I'm not dealing with this anymore. DC's trash. I don't want these figures and stuff like that. I'm like, wait. I'm not selling shit because I want those characters. And I think it's going to basically, like, if anything, if we want to label them, grail pieces of characters that we won't actually see anymore. And I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I basically have them. But there's a lot of people out there that are actually selling off. Shane, I'm going to go to you first on this one, But there's a lot of people selling off. 137 people in here watching as well. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already yet. But thank you very much for that. But Shane, what do you think about that notion? Like when there's an IP that people don't like and they in protest of that, and they're so upset that it's affecting collecting. Like they're really getting rid of those figures. What do you think about something like that, bro? Now, first off, does it surprise you, or did you see something like this coming?
Like, why did they buy them in the first place?
Yeah.
As in, no, like,
Fair question.
I kind of am a bit like maybe I've missed out on parts of this. I haven't been paying attention to the groups, but like, did they once like the Justice League and then now they don't like the Justice League, or
well,
I don't understand the reasoning.
They like it, but they're upset at the simple fact that James Gunn is going this route. So because of that, people are upset.
They don't understand the concept of protest.
Yeah. Like they're just getting rid.
That's not actually protesting. That's just idiocy.
Well, they're just but no. And I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that it's idiocy, bro, because the thing is we got to be real careful about that, because there's a lot of people out there that have their own reasons for it, and a lot of those reasons can and need to be understood and respected. But I don't understand. I understand the reasoning, but sometimes that reasoning can be a bit stretched. You can really be stretching, because that's really not going to do yourself. You're doing yourself a disservice. But anyway, Shane, what were you going to say, bro?
First of all, just like, what's the word? I just want to start off by saying, like, if someone wants to like sell all their figures, like, it's none of my business. Like, it's nothing to do with me. Like, there's only one collection I have control over, and that's the one behind me. Like, I don't know, like if people, like maybe people have lost their jobs, or they are just over it and they just don't want it. They're not getting the same buzz off. And you have hobbies. That's what it is. You fall in love you fall in and out of love with different hobbies and things like that. And so if someone wants to do that, that's grand. Or I think the phrase that gets thrown around a lot is tapping out. But if someone wants to sell their figures, they want to sell their figures. But in terms of this situation with the protest, I'm just wondering, like, if you bought those particular figures in the first place, I'm guessing you probably liked the Snyder Cut or the Justice League in the first place. Or at least maybe if you didn't like the movie, you liked the figures. So I'm wondering what's changed now. Like, nothing lasts forever. You know what I mean? You look at Batman 89, like what was that, 40 years ago? Like, did you like the film then? Yes or no? Like, they're not going to make a sequel to Batman Returns. You know what I mean? It's like, it's still a good movie. Like, it's same as like, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like, I think that'd be kind of like me going, I'm going to sell all my Dark Knight figures because now Ben Affleck's playing Batman. That wouldn't make sense to me personally. Like, but like, I don't know, maybe they have other reasons. Maybe they got financial reasons or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? It's I don't know. It's people do what they want to do, I guess. Like, it's a bit funny, like, because like I'm not a big DCEU fan, like, but although my favorite comic book movies are DC, they're the Elseworld stuff. It's the 89, the Returns, the Dark Knight trilogy, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, the Batman, those grittier. I just prefer that. But yet behind me, I do have a Henry Cavill Superman. It's Justice League. I did not like Justice League at all, but I love the vibrancy of that suit and the jacked proportions, and I think the head sculpt's quite good. And Henry Cavill, to me, just looks the part, and I like Man of Steel, and but I don't get the whole protest thing. I think it's my kind of maybe cutting your nose off to spite your face, unless of course you've realized, okay, I didn't actually like the Justice League as much as I wanted, or I don't like this figure as much as I want, and I want to get space or get a bit of money, or maybe my financial situation. There's, there are legitimate reasons to sell, but the protest, I don't think you're going to change. I don't think James Gunn is going. There's a small little niche on YouTube of 6-scale collectors who are selling their figures. You better go back. He doesn't care.
And here's the thing, like if it's one of those situations where I can understand people's passion, because I try to put myself in I can understand your passion for an IP and a passion for your dislike. I can get that, but it's I mean, if you've, like somebody said, if you paid for the figure, obviously you had the love for it at the very beginning. if you're selling it off because if you're upset, you're being upset. Now, if you're selling it off just for profit and you want to get something else, and that's completely understandable. I get that. People do that. But that level of protest is not getting back to James Gunn. And quite frankly, he doesn't give a shit about it. You know what I mean? He doesn't. He's doing what he's doing. He has a vision. And we have to basically understand that. But getting rid of your figures is not going to be, it's not going to work. It's not something that you're not sending a message to anybody else. You're just saying that you don't like it and you're just getting rid of it. So
especially
Shane,
if
I know
you've got the 5
Yeah.
Justice League figures and you've got
Yeah.
Cyborg on your pre-order list and you sell them and then it's
You're
like
this close to having them all.
Cyborg drops and then it's like, why did
Hell
I do that for the
yeah,
second
like,
time?
that's
You know,
where
I
I'm
don't know.
at.
Yeah,
Cyborg is
like-
right around the corner, and I'm not getting rid of shit. As a matter of fact, I have Wonder Woman still coming. I'm not getting rid of shit. I love my collection. It looks good on my
I
display.
can't imagine if somebody actually cancels Cyborg because they're like, no, I'm done with DC. I'd be like, really?
Yeah, nah, I'm
After
not
what
doing
we
that.
went through to get that,
And to get that piece, no,
Come
hell
on.
no. That's not going to work.
No.
Shane, I know that you said you got to go soon.
Yeah, you got a dip.
Okay, man. Okay, well, you want to let us know what you got going on, bro?
Oh, well, cool. Sorry for being late. First of all, always good
Nah,
to see
bro.
Brendan and
It's all
yourself again. Thanks for the invite. I won't be here next week or the week after because I'm going to France. I'm going snowboarding for a week, so it's like the way the flights work, I'll be missing 2 weekends.
Yeah,
so,
got you, bro.
I'll be in contact anyway, and I'll let you know when I'm back and stuff like that. But I'll be watching on the replay anyway. I what's coming up? I dropped a few shorts recently. I did a repose on my Endgame cap. Man, that thing, the legs on that don't pose so good.
Nope.
no.
I wanted it to kind of have a wide stance and put his
Nope.
weight behind the shield.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you see in the short, like it's kind of as if he's starting through the pose. There is no giving those pants. Like, you
Now
know,
you're talking
but,
about the 2012 cap?
no, the actual
the Endgame.
one.
Just the regular
pants
Endgame,
seem
yeah,
really
gotcha.
stiff. I wanted to do like a
Yeah.
real wide stance, a lower base, and have the shield up, but
Yeah.
I didn't quite get that far. But anyway, I did a repose on that, and I did a short on that with the Battle Damage 85 because I had the Battle Damage 85 in that typical I am Iron Man pose for ages, and then I was like, you know what? I want to open up this box and put the helmet on and take the energy break. There's a lot of cool accessories that comes with that. So there's a bunch of shorts up there. One on a pose I'm really, really proud of, actually, the battling suit or the oil change spy as I call it. There's one about my endgame display, and there's one on that. I did a bit of moving around here tomorrow. I'm going to do reposes tomorrow. I will be doing a live stream tomorrow. I'm going out. It's a long weekend here, so I'm going out now, have a few beers, and I just did dry January. So depending on how I'm feeling tomorrow, I may or may not do a live stream. But if I am, it's going to be called minimalism. I see a lot of people talking now, like people are under pressure financially, and people can't keep up with the amount of companies and stuff being released, and that's perfectly understandable. So I'm kind of going to do like for different IPs, if you could just pick 3 figures from like 3 figures from original trilogy, 3 figures from Mando. I'm just going to go through my picks would be and have a bit of fun in the chat depending on how I'm feeling tomorrow. So check it out. Yeah, minimalism. Pick 3, something like that. It'll be called. The thumbnail should be going up tomorrow morning. But yeah, that's it. Thanks very much.
No doubt, bro. Thank you for being here, man. Enjoy your long weekend. So definitely I will be watching tomorrow if you go live, man. It's not a long weekend for my ass. My long weekend started on Friday. I took off Friday, so I've already gotten through my long weekend. This is my last day. So anyway, thank you for being here, brother. And yeah, we'll be watching, man. And if you haven't already subscribed to the 16 figure focus channel on IG,
man.
exactly. On IG and YouTube. Oh, make sure you do give them support, great content, and all that over there, man. So definitely can't wait to see you again, bro.
Thanks, guys. See you, Brendan. See you,
Take it
chat. Enjoy. We'll see you guys. Have a good
All
weekend.
right, man. Peace out.
Bye.
Peace out.
Bye.
See you later, bro. So Brendan, like again, we're talking about this. We're talking about a lot of people who are giving up their pieces, giving up their collections, as far as the Justice League and stuff like that. And again, like I said, I get it that a lot of people are. It's one thing to be upset, but it's just like, you know what? It's like
Don't
basically
screw
your
yourself out of enjoying your collection.
Yeah.
That's my thing, because thing is, you can sell off all your DC figures and be like, I'm not collecting DC anymore, screw them. That's not going to do anything. If you don't buy anything new that comes out, okay, then you're choosing to speak with your wallet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you have Hot Toys or statues or whatever in your collection that you love,
Yeah.
you sell those, somebody else is just getting a good deal. Somebody else is just getting to add those to their collection. You're not sending a message to Warner Brothers, because really, again, they're not deciding what they're going to do with, 100 $200 million movies based on the figures that we collect. As expensive as they may be to us, that it's literally less than a penny to them.
Mhm.
The other thing is it's not sending a message to Hot Toys,
Yeah.
because Hot Toys already got you money. Like,
Yeah.
you selling your Justice League Wonder Woman figure that you've had for years is not even going to be a blip on their radar.
Mhm.
All right. So you're only screwing yourself out of the enjoyment of having those pieces in your collection. And the other thing is, just because they don't make any more movies with Henry Cavill doesn't mean that your Henry Cavill hot toy suddenly is shit. If you
Mhm.
like it, it's yours. Enjoy it. Keep it.
Yeah.
Don't,
Yeah.
because then you liked that and you're pissed that they're not using Henry Cavill anymore. But if you get rid of your Cavill hot toys, you don't even have that to enjoy anymore. You
Yeah.
took that away from yourself. They didn't take that part away from you.
Yeah.
So don't don't, if you're just changing the focus of your collection and saying, you know what, I'm just going with Marvel, or I'm just going with, Star Wars, or just going with like a certain line, and you're going to collect DC, but not, the movie ones. You're going like video game ones or whatever the case. Like, if it's because you have a particular new focus for your collection, that's fine. If it's financial, that's fine. But
Mhm.
if it's some misguided attempt at protest, I'm telling you, it's not gonna work for anybody. It's only gonna work against you enjoying your own collection. So I can't see the sense in doing that. It's just keep
And
the stuff that you
just
love and enjoy
yeah,
it.
bro. It doesn't, for me, it's not sending, you're not sending the message that you're attempting to send
It's
is
not being
going,
heard. It's
it's
not being heard by the
definitely
people
not
you
being
want it to be
heard.
heard.
Yeah. It's definitely not being heard. It's not something that, again, uh I don't know. Again, I understand people's reasonings for not liking the direction. Look, I think James Gunn even knew that going into this whole thing, there were some tough decisions. We make tough decisions every single day. If you have children, you make
Yeah.
tough decisions every single day. And going into it, I mean, there's no difference. You have to understand that you got to take the good with the bad sometimes. And I pretty much know that he understands that. But I mean, if you build up a nice collection and it looks good, just keep it where, but again, you're not going to get those things resolved the way you think doing it that way. But at the same time, I understand and I respect people's opinions.
A protest only works if the people that you're protesting against can hear your voice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
James
Yeah.
Gunn is not going to know if people watching this stream sell off their DC Hot Toys. Hot
Yeah.
Toys is not going to know
Yeah.
if the people watching this sell off their DC collections, right? So what has that protest accomplished? It hasn't. It's
What
not
else,
protest.
man? I mean, let the process. I don't want that.
The armor. Somebody else said that earlier tonight about, like, hey, if they want to sell their Justice League
Yo,
Superman, I need one.
that
So, like,
that was that
yeah,
was
there'll
that
be
was
people.
that was your boy King Carter. He was like, "Yo, your boy needs."
You know what? And if anybody does jump out and do that and like
Yo,
start sell off their DC stuff, guess what? They're gonna be trying to buy them back in a couple of years.
yeah. He's
Like,
like,
you're
"Yo,
gonna be spending that money. And
who are
like,
these people?"
or if you're like, okay, I'm a Hot Toys collector, but I want to have
Yeah,
what's current. Like, so I'm going to sell all this
yeah,
stuff in anticipation of the new Hot Toys that are going to be coming out for all these new movies. Brother, guess what? You're not getting those until like 2026,
exactly. Just
right?
like Cornelia
Because
said, those figures will be super rare in 10 years, definitely, man.
they will.
So
But like the new stuff, you're not
yeah,
getting. And see, this is the other thing, though. You're not getting new DC figures
mm-hmm.
for a while. All right,
Yeah,
because we're not getting we're not getting any of like the new slate. Like, yeah, we got Aquaman and Flash and stuff coming this year,
Yeah.
but the rest of it's next year. It's 2024. And then, I mean, Jesus, we're literally just now finishing up the Endgame line. All right. And they crank Marvel figures out like crazy. That movie's been out for 3.5 years now.
Yeah.
So you're going to be waiting a long time for the new figures in these. Now, I'm curious to see if there's any dip in people purchasing the stuff from like Shazam, Flash, and Aquaman, whatever's released from those. Because they're like, oh well, the DCEU is being reset, and so I'm not going to buy those because they're not going to, it'll be interesting to see. But I think that there's going to be a serious lack of DC love from the 6 scale, like from Hot Toys and stuff, for a good stretch, because everything's being reset, and so they don't have anything that's really in the pipeline.
In concrete, they don't know. So that's what I'm saying. But speaking of which, I wanted to bring something out here real quick up here because this was revealed over the weekend. I just wonder what people are going to think about this. This was the Premier Toys Eagle Warrior Hawkman, it is, from Black Adam. And I'm like, okay, like, all right, we're starting to see this. We've seen, there's, of course, we know Black Adam is coming, but we also seen, Eagle. We see this Eagle Man, but then they released Dr. Fate. So we actually see there's a Dr. Fate's third party company that's actually doing that. I think was it the same company or is it a different company? I think that are doing that.
I think it might be the same company, just technically a different name.
Different name. So,
but
and we're seeing these particular pieces now. Me myself, as much as I would say I would want to actually have this, I probably won't do it. Because the joints are what really take me out of it. But it looks good. Don't get me wrong. It looks good, but the joints are what take me out of it. And
also, again, for a third-party company, the wings will always be a little nervous. Like for me, like I'm like, will they pull? Especially how great the wings on like Wonder Woman and Sam Wilson are. I don't think a third party, and I don't know what the price is on this, but if the wings are worth a damn, I'd imagine it won't be cheap. It'll be cheaper than Hot Toys, but like, I don't know. The other thing is like, look. I love the character of Hawkman. I love the character of Dr. Fate. They're not ones that I'm like, I have to have them in my collection. They're cool characters. I enjoy reading them in the comics, but there are certain characters that and I'm trying to be a lot more focused with my collection. Especially since I'm focused more on actually like the comic book side of collecting these days anyway. But I'm trying to be more focused and realizing, I've got limited space. I want to have my displays the way I really want them. I don't need that figure. Like I bought a bunch of third-party figures that I have now that I'm probably going to get rid of because I'm just like, I don't absolutely have to have them in my collection. I think I got them just because I wanted the character at the time, but it's like looking at it is like, could I live without it? And for most of the not all, but most of the third party figures and even some of the Hot Toys, I'm like, I wouldn't miss that if I didn't see it in my display every day. So I'm trying to look at things that way before I buy. But the other thing is I'm not really pre-ordering anything. Like with a couple of exceptions, like some of the in-art ones, obviously, where it's those are going to be more limited, which I think in-art is going to be the best source of DC 6 scales that we have for a couple of years, to be honest. But companies have been they've been pretty shady when it comes to the shipping costs in 6 scales and in statues, really bad too. Because the cost of shipping containers and everything, it has come way down. We are close to pre-pandemic costs for shipping, but companies are still charging exorbitant amounts.
Arm and a leg for these shipping costs.
And that's not just foreign. That's not just overseas. That's domestic too. Sideshow, man, they're and it's been more on the statue side, but like people. It's not me. Like even see, there was like a Batman statue collector stream. talking about what they were getting charged for shipping like a premium format or like a Prime One Studio statue and a couple other pieces
Yeah.
from Sideshow, and it was insane. Like
Yeah.
ridiculous amount, like almost the cost of what they were actually buying in the first place. And they
Yeah.
went on to like pirate ship, and then they went to like other, to FedEx, UPS, whatever, and then plugged in the dimensions, the weight, everything themselves to see what it would cost to ship. And it was way lower than what they were getting charged from like Sideshow and others. So if I am gonna pre-order something, I'm going to do it through somebody like Collector's Own, somebody like Underground, Ray, because at least then Ray is literally like 40 minutes away from me. So I know that that's never going to be that expensive. I'll just go pick it up if I need to. But with Marcos, it's at least, a Collector's Own. It's like the price for shipping, it's built into the price that you pay when you put down the order. So what you're paying. It's not like, oh shit, 12 months from now, I'm going to get hit with a ridiculously high, jacked up shipping rate. So the way companies are handling that, there are only a select few that I'm willing to put a pre-order down with. Everything else is like, I'll just wait. And then when it comes out, wherever I can get the best, price and shipping rate and everything at the moment, that's what I'll do.
Yeah, definitely. We got a good 143 people in here watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, I mean, it's with this again, I have to really, really, really be careful because, like I said, a lot, and there's still things that we're getting hit with that have been delayed. So for me, it's definitely one of those situations where I had to pass on something, and this mainly will be, something that I'm passing on.
It's cool that they're making it.
Yeah, I'm glad that they made it. It looks good.
What's been delayed that we're still waiting? There's still like Mando Luke. There's
Mando
Cyborg.
Luke. There's Ahsoka. There's Cyborg.
Yep.
There's Yelena. So they're basically still like waiting on Yelena. Again, my Wonder Woman is still being delayed from Sideshow. Who knows when that's actually going to dip in, and we'll get a response on that. But there's a lot. There's
clone
a lot.
Troopers and stuff.
Yeah, there's clone troopers, all that stuff. There's Shang-Chi and Wenwu. So that's what I'm saying. Like there's still delays on those pieces that we're waiting on. So that's going to take more time. So again, you have to definitely be selective what you get and how you get it. So for me, that's why I'm like, yeah, I probably won't. I definitely know I'm not going to get this.
It doesn't have that same that wow factor, even though it looks really cool. It doesn't have that same wow factor as some of the other third party things like the So Toys doing Kingdom Come Superman or something like that. There are other ones that it's like, oh, all right, that's a third party that looks phenomenal. Actually, So Toys Gambit, right?
Yeah,
and the Rogue that they're putting out, which also got delayed. Stuff like that is like, okay, I have to have that. Hawkman, Dr. Fate, it's like those are cool. And if I had the space and and didn't have a bunch of other stuff to prioritize financially, then all right, yeah, I'll grab those. But like,
it's not a necessity right now.
No, and I think somebody said it was like 285 for this one for Hawkman. And I'm just like, I can't do that. Like, there are too many other things that I want to get that it's like you want to get like some battle droids, super battle droids, like when those stuff like that. It's like I can't justify 285 on this.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely can't justify paying 285 for it. Not when I could put 285 for something. Not to say it's not quality, but again, I know what I'm looking for. So not necessarily doing that, but shout out to everybody else who will. If you're getting your collection,
I'm sure some people will be happy with it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't care. He said, Shawnee said, I wish some asshole would protest me up a red dress Harley already. Hell yeah, man.
I'm actually shocked
that they didn't do that.
That one and the red and black leather one, because to be perfectly honest, when the Suicide Squad movie first, dropped, or even actually during the trailers and stuff, I was like, oh, wow, that red and black leather one, that's going to be the first Margot Robbie Harley Quinn that I get, because I didn't get any of the others because the big visible joints, it just pulled me out of it. I didn't want it.
Yeah.
But that leather outfit, it was like no joints. It covers the elbows.
It covers
the
everything up.
like,
yeah.
Totally cool. That's going to be the first Harley. Now I've got the Arkham one, but like that would have been my first like movie Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And they never made it. Instead, they made King Shark. Go figure.
Yeah, the King Shark, the only figure that Hot Toys basically made from that IP, which is strange. So I wonder if that's going to actually change down the line. I don't know, but I guess and I can understand what the change and everything happening. There's a lot. There's a lot to be expected. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll
that
see
was a weird one though. Just like King Shark, like
and to be the first figure that you released from that line. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where does that come from? Like, I don't get it. So
yeah, but it's also then it's like, if you're basing like what you're gonna do with the rest of that IP off of how the first figure does, and the first one that you launch is King Shark, well, obviously it's a power pose and it's not that good of a looking figure, to be honest. In my opinion, other people may love it, but obviously you're not going to get big pre-order numbers for that in comparison to, if they did Harley or if they did Bloodsport or something like that. So if they made any decisions based on the rest of that line off of the pre-sales for King Shark, then I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know. Anyway, you guys out there, man, we got 130 people watching. Make sure you hit that like button. It's been a great show, bro. Thank you for being here, bringing it down. You had a lot of people out there. It was like, yo, Brendan is killing it with the conversation. So definitely thank you for being here. Tell them what you got coming up, or what we got coming up. That is next.
Tonight is The Last of Us. So that's Sunday nights every night. That's it. So I can't. Oh God, I don't know if it'll happen, but man, Hot Toys or InArt, give me some Last of Us figures. Give me a clicker. Just like, oh my God, that would look so cool. Anyway, yeah. Did
3-0 Azimuth do that, or who did the?
I think there was like an unlicensed, but it wasn't. Seeing some of the amazing stuff that both Hot Toys and InArt has done, like that's what I want. Like, I would love a statue company to give us a really good clicker, with just amazing paintwork and stuff. Maybe Prime One will do it, but they did some weird choices for like an Ellie and Abby one from the second game. I don't know, but so The Last of Us tonight. Who knows? I might watch it twice. And then tomorrow, obviously, we've got Comic Book Talk with Friends.
What's this going to be on?
So, yes.
I told you, I'm just, bro. I told everybody I'm gonna have a big bowl of popcorn, and I'm just going to sit it. I'm literally going to have some popcorn tomorrow, and I'm gonna have a nice little drink right there in front of me, and I'm just going to sit back and eat my popcorn and listen. That's all I'm doing tomorrow. Literally,
it'll be interesting.
That's all I'm doing tomorrow. I'm not doing anything else but that.
I'm keeping it super positive, and
it's gonna be fun as fuck.
I'll bring some snacks too, and you and I just sit back. We'll let them kind of do their thing, and then we'll come back in when we need to.
Tomorrow is going to be an event, because it's not going to be an artist drop. We're not going to talk about too much about artists. Again, we're going to, because this DC conversation is going to carry on. We're going to probably sprinkle some other things in there.
Just to sprinkle something else in, I will have another video for you, for everybody tomorrow night.
We'll do the video.
Like the Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man one from last week. So we'll have another one. And it's actually going to be on more of an independent, it's from Image Comics. Okay. So it's not like a Marvel or DC thing. So it'll be like a palette cleanser, something to just kind of separate from that. So we'll have that tomorrow night, and the discussion is going to be lively. So I would definitely. And
I'm gonna purposely wear a Superman T-shirt tomorrow. I'm just gonna do it, and this is gonna be fun. I can't wait. So tune in tomorrow. Comic Book Talk with Friends. It's gonna be an interesting conversation. The shit's gonna be funny as fuck, but it's gonna be fun, all in good fun. But it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be positive, and it's always good to have opinions. So you guys, tomorrow night, 9:15, make sure you are there for the show, 9:15 or 9:30, whatever. But just make sure you're there. We'll figure it out. Sometime. It's going to be a great show.
And I should have, hopefully in the next day or two, Actually, no, it might be tomorrow. I might get my Mark 1 in. So DHL hopefully gets that over. Did you get the Iron Man Mark 1?
No,
No.
I didn't do it yet.
Oh, he said yeah, but he's gonna.
I didn't do it
He
yet
hasn't done it
because
yet.
I'm still focusing on getting everything else out the way first before I go back and dip, because I think that's going to be available for a minute. And I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be available for a little while. It's
Yeah,
an Iron Man. They make tons of them, so they're going to have it in stock for a while. But I'm
yeah,
looking
and it's
forward
the
to getting that.
first
Yeah,
LED light up feature that you can connect, or the
yeah, but
USB that you
like,
can connect to the back of it. So I just want to see
you
how it's
can
going to
do
look.
it, but like, it doesn't charge. It's not like the USB then charges a battery internally,
You got
and
to
then
leave it
you can.
on.
So you have to have it plugged in the whole time. So then you have
Yeah,
to kind of snake the wire around, like have a power bank or something to hide it. But the thing is,
I don't mind that though.
the turbine that spins the like
Yeah,
fan thing,
it's a loud noise.
it's loud, but you can't turn that off and just do the lights.
No, you can't. It
So
has
you
to
have to
stay
hear
on.
the thing buzzing. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. It's an odd choice, but they're
Yeah.
trying. They're moving in the
They're
right
moving
direction.
forward to it, and I just want to see how it's gonna. I would love to see
I'm
how
s-
it's gonna look. I'm just not gonna have it yet myself.
yeah, I'm looking forward to having it tomorrow, hopefully, because I got that and I
Yeah,
got Sam Wilson in, which that Sam Wilson is absolutely phenomenal.
yes, bro.
It's so good, and I'm actually really loving this guy too.
Oh,
Quill
Quill, you got
is
Quill. Yeah.
yeah.
Did you get the blurg set, or you just got Quill?
No.
You just got Quill.
I have no room that I want to dedicate to the blurg. Like it takes up a lot of space. Um, it was a cool creature in the show. It's not something that is like iconic and I have an attachment to that I have to have. Like I had to have Wicket when it came with
Yeah,
Leia, right?
yeah.
I had to have an Ewok and Wicket, obviously. A blurg, no. But I also think it like in person or like in hand rather than just the pictures, like it looks very much like plastic toy like.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It doesn't look like this kind of wet, real like skin texture for a creature kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I wasn't sold on it, and more I've seen of it from other people too. I'm just like, nah, I don't need it.
Definitely.
Quill's
So
enough.
definitely make sure that you tune in tomorrow. Also, what we got going. Actually, I have Bo-Katan and Axe Wolves video coming up for Take Your Position. That's going to be dropping later on today. I'm putting finishing touches on that, so expect it. If not, it'll be tomorrow morning at 9. I like to drop them like normally around 9 o'clock, so it'll probably be ready to prep for tomorrow at 9 premiere. So stay tuned for that. So again, comic book talk with friends tomorrow. Say what Wednesday, and then we have Figure Flex Friday, and then we're back here for Collectors Lounge next week, next Sunday. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Again, guys, thank you for basically being here. It's been a great show. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to the Collector Without Fear on Instagram. You want to make sure that you basically do that. And yeah, thank you for being here. It's been a great show, a great outing. Everybody have a beautiful day. No football games today, but you'll pick up everything else and just watch some shows, catch up on shows, and catch up some reading. We'll just basically do that. Again, talk to you guys later on. See you next week. And yeah, we are ready to go. Peace out.